7:18 on WMAL. It's really an amazing story out of New York yesterday when the news broke that they finally made an arrest in the case of Etan Patz, who, when he was 6 years old, 33 years ago, vanished on his way to a school bus stop in Lower Manhattan. They've been looking for the person who did this for years. The family has been wanting closure of this case. An amazing story, really, because the family has been keeping a tab of every single person that's called that house since the day of the disappearance, in hopes that somehow that was going to lead. Police told them to do that, and they kept on doing that. They thought they knew who the guy was that killed Etan back in the day, Jose Ramos. Turns out it wasn't him. There was a confession yesterday. Pedro Hernandez confessing to the murder of Etan Patz some 33 years ago. ABC's Aaron Katersky is in New York City. Join us on this case. Aaron, how did this happen? Exactly why did Hernandez come forward, or how did police get tipped off to him?
Well, there's two potential reasons, and one has to do with his family, the other may have to do with his health. We're told that Pedro Hernandez, who was 19 years old in 1979 when Etan Patz disappeared, worked at a convenience store on his block, was never questioned 33 years ago. But over the years, his relatives and friends recall him making statements saying, "I did something bad. I killed a child in New York," and he had been talking about this since about 1981, according to police. And his relatives and friends never really knew what child he was talking about or what case he was talking about until last month, when they saw news footage of police and the FBI digging through a Manhattan basement looking for clues in Etan Patz's disappearance. That seemed to jog some memories. They went to police, and then police went to Hernandez in southern New Jersey, where he now lives, on Wednesday. They took him into custody for questioning and made a formal arrest late yesterday.
So he began talking about it some 2 years after the incident. Why did it take him so long to come forward to police?
So interesting. We have no idea. He said nothing to police about motive that we know of. He only said that he lured Etan Patz with the promise of a soda into the convenience store where he worked while Patz was walking to school alone for the first time at 6 years old, and then took him down into the basement of that store, choked him, disposed of his body in a plastic bag that he just threw into the trash. And this is something that he has been living with for the last 33 years. And apparently when he finally confessed to police, the officers involved said he felt remorse and relief.
And I know it was a long confession or a long discussion with the police on this matter. Have the police given any reason for a motive in this case? Did he explain why he did this?
Brian, this is one of the outstanding questions, and it may be a less satisfying bit of closure for Etan Patz's family. They've been waiting, more than 3 decades for a break like this in the case, but no idea about motive. Why Etan? Why not the other kids at that bus stop that's a block and a half from where Etan Patz lived, where his parents still live? And why, pick on this kid? Why choke him to death? Why? None of that came out, and may never come out, and there may not be a why. Yeah. But it's something that has really tormented the entire neighborhood for 3 decades. Has parents everywhere asking how young is too young to let your kid walk to school by himself. Right. And it changed the way the country deals with missing children. I mean, it's almost no exaggeration to say before 1979 there were no missing children in this country. And then because of Etan Patz, President Reagan declared today, May 25th, National Missing Children's Day.
Lastly, I know that the family didn't move from their home because of hopes that somehow he would return, or that somebody might stop by the house to see again, where he lived, and they kept a record of all the phone calls that came into the house. Have they spoken at all? Do they believe this is the guy who did it?
They were told that the parents took the news pretty well, all things considered, and that they've had decades worth of false starts before, and so I don't think they were perhaps as overly excited as you might expect, because they've been to this dance before, and they've seen police get excited about a lead only to have it fall through. But now that there is a formal arrest, we're told that the family is happy, is feeling a measure of relief, but they still have not come forward publicly And so we haven't heard an official statement.
All right. Aaron Katersky, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, Brian, you got it.
ABC's Aaron Katersky reporting live from New York City on the case.
What an interesting and tragic case.
Yeah, but for the family, at least there's some closure.
Some closure eventually. Although, I mean, I guess if I were the family member, it would still bother me. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why? What did the kid do? Why this kid?
It is.
I hope they get that answer.
I hope.